Nobody was expecting it. Nobody. I'm sure Arteta himself is shocked at the lack of productivity from Jesus, Martinelli, and Trossard this season. They've been extremely appalling, and you can't predict that. So let's cut Arteta some slack. No, I'm not saying Arteta doesn't have his faults. I'm not saying the Kroenkes doesn't have their fault too. Even though I did not welcome to the president. How we're doing this Thursday morning? Let's discuss the Arsenal attack. The Arsenal attack. Can we objectively say the Arsenal attack is just objectively useless? Not all the attackers. Unfortunately, Saka is out with a hamstring injury. He should be back at the twilight of the season, which is in March or in April. So we cannot rely on his services. We're in a wrath. If you look at the Newcastle game, I know I did a preview and I said, I'll even take a draw. But even though I predicted maybe a narrow win. But during the preview, I said, I'll take a draw. And some of you are like, oh, I'm reducing the standard. We should be winning by a 2-goal lead. Or we should go into Newcastle by a 2-goal margin. What happened? This team, attacking wise, is very, very poor this season. Now, it's very, very easy to analyze in hindsight. And I'm not going to allow us to do that. You might not like Arteta, which is fair. I'm not saying you should not criticize Arteta, but nobody was expecting, even myself, a lot of you, even though some of you want to dump so heavily on Arteta now because you don't like him, because he didn't sign your favorite player, he didn't sign Nico Williams, he didn't sign Gyökeres, he didn't sign Ishak. We can do that later. But objectively, none of you are expecting Jesus, Martinelli, Trossard to have this kind of poor, diabolical season. Nobody was expecting that. Nobody. I'm sure Arteta himself is shocked at the lack of productivity from Jesus, Martinelli, and Trossard this season. They've been extremely appalling, and you can't predict that. So let's cut Arteta some slack. No, I'm not saying Arteta doesn't have his faults. I'm not saying the Kroenkes doesn't have their fault too. Even though I did not call the window a poor window. I think it's a good window. Just that there are other mitigating factors that we're not talking about. For me, this season, our attackers have been horrific. That is the bane. That is the main issue with this team. Our attackers have been... See, we've gone from not even scoring goals. We can't even pick players. But they're not producing anything. Aside from the purple patch Jesus had against Newcastle... sorry, not Newcastle. Against Crystal Palace a few weeks ago. What has Jesus done since then? Look at Martinelli. What has Martinelli done this season? Now, last season, we saw the side last season. It's like I said, let's not be disingenuous. Yes, he was relatively poor last season, but we're expecting him to kick on this season. We didn't know he was going to go downhill. You know, Trossard is going to be this poor. Some of you said we should have gotten another striker, another winger for Saka. I understand that, and I understand that, and I rock with that. But even with that one, nobody can legislate the fact that Martinelli, Trossard, and Jesus have been extremely poor. You can have a go at Arteta as much as you want, but objectively, Trossard, Jesus, Martinelli, what have they contributed goal-wise? Output, nothing. The intangibles, nothing. They are just ghosting through the season. Now, we understood that Jesus has a few injuries last season, but this season, he has been relatively healthy, but is producing nothing, objectively. We saw the purple pie, and I remember I warned you guys last time. Scored a brace against Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup. Scored another goal in the league in Crystal Palace, performed well, but let's take it easy. Because I wasn't trusting of that because the sample size was not making sense. As I said, let's take it easy. He has gone back. He has reverted back to type. Jesus has been non-productive. So, and we have to bring in an attacking player this January. I understand the complexities that comes with trying to get the likes of the Atletico Bilbao player. What's his name? Nico Williams, the wages. You have to understand that the wage structure of Arsenal and everything. I'm not defending Arsenal here, but as much as I want an attacker, you have been shouting is a must. I understand if we don't do it, I'm not happy with it, but I understand that you are not going to. You don't want to be too desperate to do something that you regret doing. So I want an attacker. That is why it's not my job. It's their job it's their job. So I can push back and say, is this to criticize from the outside? But I understand why Arsenal are a bit reluctant to push the boundaries on Nico Williams because of his wages. I think we can do the transfer fee, but 300k, it will be the highest earner, and Saliba's deal is coming up. Saka's deal is coming up. Gabriel Magalhaes deal is coming up. You cannot ignore that part of it. So I'm not defending as a penny pinching. I don't define it as penny pinching that some of you define it as. But at the same time, we have to be very, very smart with how we push for, because we have to do major, major surgery regarding our attack in the summer too. Nico Williams alone is not enough. We need a total overhaul of the attack. Some of you say, oh, Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz has been more productive than Jesus, Martinelli, and Trossard this season. Let's not do that. You might not be Kai Havertz fan, but you cannot ignore the fact that Kai Havertz is the only massacre. Have been the only ray of light in our attack this season. The rest have been just ghosting. They're not even taking it seriously. So the title race for me is gone. Am I very optimistic we're going to win a trophy this season? It's not impossible, but the probability for me is low, objectively, because we are not playing well, and our attacking players are not just producing. It's just the fact. I'm not making this up. You can see it yourself. So this blind optimism or this let's just go and splurge in the winter transfer window is not just possible. Let's just be sensible. Am I fuming? Am I angry? But I've not lost my senses. I've not lost my senses. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section regarding this dilemma of how much to spend, how to spend, regarding the fact that we need attacking players in our forward line. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Like the video on your way out. Subscribe and all that jazz. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.